to the build tutorial on how to build the HobbyKing X930 Octocopter. This is chapter 2 of the build series. In this part of the series we're going to be going over how to put the frame together and essentially get it ready for the electronics portion of installation. So let's get started. I've already gone ahead and put some of the frame together, including the main plates, some of the arms, as well as the motor mounts. So I'll show you what that looks like in up close view. This is what the motor mounts look like. Once they're installed on the arms. This is what the main frame looks like, or should look like, as you're putting it together. I recommend putting the main plates together before you install the arms. It's just easier that way in my opinion. But you're free to do it as you like. And these are the nylon screws, which we'll be using for the flight control board. There's 4 of them. So now as you can see, I have 6 of the arms installed. So we're going to be installing 2 of the front arms, which are red in color, and we'll also be installing the motor mounts onto the arms. And once that is done, we're going to be installing, well, first we're going to put together and then eventually installing the landing gear. I've already put one of the landing gears together, and the other part we're going to do together in the video. So let's get started. Put this to the side. Now, when installing the motor mount onto the arms, you have to make sure that along with the motor mount itself, it comes with a bottom plate which you have to install underneath the arm. So make sure you install this as well. This is the arm we're going to be installing it onto. It's red in color to indicate the direction of the platform. Another thing I noticed, which is quite common with HobbyKing kits, is that I did not receive enough of these bolts. Essentially, they're the small bolts that are the common size ones for the entire platform, but there weren't enough. But luckily I had ordered an extra bag for the X525 frame, because the same situation occurred with that frame as well, wherein we didn't have enough of the screws, so we had to wait for the screws to arrive from HobbyKing. So just make sure that you do go ahead and order an extra bag of either the X525 or the screws for the X930 frame. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much the same sizes, so you should be okay either way. So next we're going to be installing the motor mount and the bottom plate onto the arm. Another odd thing with this platform was that there weren't any washers included. For the sake of the build tutorial, I'm just going to put the frame together, but I will most probably go back into the build and have to install washers. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this kit, but I don't like the fact that there are screws missing, and I was expecting the frame to be a little bit bigger than the size that it came out to be. But apart from that, I think it's okay for the price. And again, I'm not Loctiting them simply to move ahead with the build process for the tutorial, but I highly recommend that you Loctite all of your screws and nuts and bolts. Don't leave anything to chance. Okay, so one of the two arms is complete with the motor mount installed as well as the bottom plate. So this is what it looks like. And now it's essentially ready to be installed onto the frame. But first we're going to finish the second arm. Another thing I noticed about the screws which are included are that they strip quite easily, so just be extra careful that you don't strip them. They don't seem to be very durable. So before I screw the bolt in, I just want to show you what the bottom plate looks like once it's been put on and it's ready for installation. Let's go ahead and put the bolts on, both of the screws. Stays in place. Now tighten them. And just be careful not to over tighten. You don't want to break the motor mount or bend the frame's overall size and structure. Okay, so we have our second arm complete as well. And now we can go ahead and install it onto our platform. One thing to mention is that the screws which you use to install the arms onto the platform are the round flathead hex screws, whereas the screws which you use to install the motor mounts to the arms are the rounder ones, but they're still the hex ones. So make sure you use the right screws for the right type. Move this off to one side. Now, to install the arms into the platform, all we're doing is essentially sliding the arm into the platform and tightening it into place. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, the first screw is in. Now I'm going to put in the second one. Second screw is in, bolt them in. Now, I really can't understand why HobbyKing wouldn't include washers for this installation. But I do recommend that you put washers in. You can go ahead and tighten them in now. Okay, so the first screw is tight. Move on to the second one. Okay, so we have our first arm installed. And now we're going to move on to the second arm. And after that, installation for our arms is going to be complete. I do apologize for dropping the Allen key so many times, but it's just so small, and my workspace is not very large, so it's getting kind of tedious working on larger frames in a small area. one of those days. I've noticed when things like this are happening a lot, it's just a sign that you need to slow down even more and take your time. Because after all, it is a hobby for most of us. Second screw. This one seems to be going quite well. Okay. So now we have all of our arms installed onto our platform, including the front two directional arms. And so next we can move on to installing the landing gear. But first we'll have to put it together. So now we can move on to working on the landing gear. I've already gone ahead and put one of the sides of the landing gear together. I do recommend using Gorilla Glue or some sort of CA or super glue for the bottom portion of the landing gear because it was coming out. But for the most part, it seems to be pretty rigid once you have it locked into place. You may have to use a rubber hammer or a mallet to push these pins into their proper places because they just weren't going in for me until I gave them a few hard smacks. And so essentially this is the tray for your battery, and you can attach it with Velcro or double-sided sticky tape over here, and this is the portion that stays on the ground like this, and this portion over here is going to lock into our frame once the landing gear is complete. So let's go ahead and finish off the second landing gear. So first we're going to take one of the side arms and install it onto the mounting plate. I don't have my rubber mallet with me, so I'm going to be using the back end of this softer side of cutter. And you want to be very precise when you're hitting it because you don't want to hit the wrong end of it. You could very easily break this piece. Okay, so side's done. We'll repeat the process for the other side. And now for this side of the landing gear, both of these sides seem to be not holding in place very well. So I do recommend that if you ever feel that they're not staying in place, that you use super glue or Gorilla Glue or CA glue just to make sure that these pieces are rigid and firmly in place and aren't moving around, even though they're supposed to be locked into place. And I don't really like how the placement of these holes, it does coincide with the plates, so it's not that they're not fitting, but it's not a very good fit, but it seems to be doing the job. So as long as I think you apply super glue or Gorilla Glue, you should be okay. Give it a few more hard smacks. So next we're going to be installing the bottom skid plate for the landing gear. This is the portion that stays on the ground. So we'll go ahead and put this in, and this essentially slides in to these two bottom connectors on the bottom of the landing gear. And the skid plate has the same two connectors for it. So let's go ahead and put them in. And finally we have the tray for the battery. And in this landing gear I decided to go with the second mounting hole, but you can decide and you can change them. You have three options. I decided to go with the middle one, so I'll repeat the same thing for this one. So we have our landing gear essentially ready to go for installation onto the platform. And these two connectors are going to slide onto the connectors which are already present on the platform. So now that we have the landing gear complete, we can go ahead and install it onto the platform. I don't have enough space on my work table to show you how that's done, but when we move on to the portion of the build tutorial when we work on electronics, you will get a full view of the platform with the landing gear installed. If you have any questions about this portion of the build tutorial, please send me a message or just write a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.